so welcome to Crash Course 3D Modeling 101 Skyboxes and Environments. So a lot of this is going to be repetitive, but here it is. And hi, everybody who has not met me yet. I'm not sure if there's new people here. I do see a lot of familiar faces, so welcome. Thank you for being here. All right, so here's the agenda. I'm going to quickly go over the skill matrix. I'm going to ask you, what is a skybox? Let's show some examples. We're going to explore AI and then create a custom sky. So tonight, as usual, we are in the skills matrix alignment in the art section under we're still under assets. Yes, I had to make sure that was correct. All right, I like to ask this question. I want to see where everybody's at. This is going to be repetitive too. So what is your experience with Blender? Haven't touched it yet. That's okay. I'm here to help start you on your journey. I've made a few things. I hear a lot of that. Great. Let's practice and take things a step further. And you're a Blender wizard. This course might feel a bit repetitive, but I'm glad you're here. Feel free to help in the chat and offer guidance. Now, the thing is that today is a little different from this model, right? Because we are tapping into the world of skyboxes. It's a little different. So some of it might feel really easy, and then towards the end, it's going to be a little more advanced. But those who are beginners, don't feel discouraged. Because at the end, I will, after the surveys are done, I will drop freebies for you guys to play with. Curated by me, and it will definitely help you explore. And I want to see you be curious and explore what I have to show you today. What is a skybox? So a skybox is a 3D background that creates the illusion of a surrounding sky, space, or landscape in a 3D scene. Don't be scared. You'll come right back. Just shut it down and come on back. Sorry, I'm holding back coughs. Okay. What are the skybox types? First up is a cube map. A cube map uses 6 images mapped into a cube. Excuse me. So these are easily generated. I will drop links to a page where it shows you how to convert, or it just converts it for you. So I will drop source images and stuff like that. Next up is an equirectangular, meaning single 2D image wrapped into a sphere. So you know those people that have those really cool 360 cameras? Well, those can be used to create sky domes, right? And today, what I'm going to show you is how to emulate a 360 camera in Blender, which is really cool. And AI generated. So everybody's been using AI generated. I am going to briefly breeze through that because I have touched on it before, but there are some new people in here, and I definitely want to touch on it because it's definitely something that people... That's okay. You don't need to use AI, but there are people who definitely like to use it. So Next, knowing the workspace is very important. So definitely give yourself the time every single day to get more and more familiar with the interface of Blender. Knowing the Blender workspace is essential because it boosts efficiency, reduces confusion, and helps you navigate tools and features quickly, making 3D modeling or other features faster and more intuitive. And once again, thank you guys for being here. So the first thing I'm going to touch base on is AI, because this is the easiest, so I'm going to do that first. Now, is everybody familiar with the Blockade Labs AI system for Skyboxes? No? I'm so happy I got a bunch of no's. All right, cool. No, I got some no's in there. All right, cool. So now it is a paid subscription. But if you find it useful, especially in your workflow, that's fine. So here we go. I am going to have you guys choose a style for me. Alrighty, so we have Model 3. What is this? The starry. We have clouds. You want the cosmic one. How many votes for the cosmic one? They're all Model 3. Sorry, that was a mistake. Starry. Cosmic. Okay. All right, cool. So we're going to click into Cosmic. Alrighty. So this is what it looks like. Now, if you click around, you can see you can pan around and really take a look at how this sky dome works. It's really cool. It's really cool. I pay for the subscription. I don't use it though, but I do like to play around with it. And this is definitely my favorite to show because it sparks curiosity. It just sparks ideas, stuff like that. So it already has a prompt in here, right? And I'm going to just use this prompt. I'm not going to put too much thought into it. So I'm going to go ahead and click generate. So right now, clicking generate. There is this loading bar here. It's green and it's going to indicate when it's done. Really cool stuff. Letting it load. Yes. To me, this one looks the same all the time, to be honest. I always feel like it does, especially with the colors. And here's the generated sky. Thank you. Yeah, they always look the same. I mean, let's see. Vibrant colors of a celestial nebula against the deep space backdrop in the colors purple, pink, and wait, how do I spell turquoise? I spelled that wrong probably. It's all right. Let's generate. It'll know what I said. Teal, there you go. there you go. Look at that. Now, those are the colors I like to see. Very, very cotton candy, right? Very cute. Alrighty, cool. And I'll save this one for you guys to play around with. So now I'm going to go ahead and download this, right? So I'm going to go ahead and press download. And since I pay for it, I get all these really fun features, right? I'm going to go ahead and download this Equirectangular PNG. And I'm going to show you how to apply it on an inverted sphere. And this is for all of you beginners. I'm going to teach you how to invert a sphere and place your image on that sphere. Loading. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in here. Now I'm starting fresh. I am in Blender version 4.2.3. First up, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab everything by pressing A and then X to delete all of the objects in my scene. Deleting everything. Alrighty. So now what I'd like to do is create a UV sphere. So I'm going to go Shift A and I'm going to go to Mesh and create that UV sphere. Cool. I'll just leave it as is. What I like to do actually is I like to shade smooth. But here comes the question. How do we, and what is inverting the sphere? What is that? Basically, we're taking the faces that are on the outside and we're flipping it so that we can see those faces on the inside of the sphere. And I'm going to show you a good way to check if it's been done or not. So I'm going to go here on the upper right hand side. There are these two spheres that are colliding with each other and a drop down. This is the show overlays. So I'm going to go ahead and click this drop down. And then I'm going to go down to where it says geometry, face orientation. Alrighty, cool. Now I have an overlay. Now, this blue indicates that the faces are showing on the outside of the sphere. But what I really want is these faces to show on the inside. So I'm going to quickly fix that by pressing Tab into edit mode. I usually like, it doesn't matter, but I usually like to make sure that I am on face select mode here on the upper left. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press the hotkeys Alt N, and then it brings up a drop down for normals. And then I'm going to go ahead and click on flip. And now everything turned red. Everything turned red because we had took those faces and we inverted them. Now if I look inside of the sphere, it turned blue. That means that we are in the right orientation. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in that really awesome skybox we created. But first off, we're going to create a material to attach it to. So I'm going to click on new, and then I'm going to call this starry and just leave it like that. on the texture itself, I'm going to also call it starry underscore BR. And I'm going to show you another way on top of that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to base color. I'm going to click on this yellow dot. Whoops. And then I'm going to go to texture, image texture. Afterwards, I'm going to go ahead and click on open. And then I'm going to find my image texture. And at this point, you're going to say, hey, this is in the way. So I'm going to go ahead and first off, turn this off. And then I will switch this viewport shading on. So now I can see my sky dome. The one thing to notice, which in this one, thankfully it doesn't, are the two poles. So poles meaning where the geometry kind of like interlocks into one pole. I'm calling it a pucker today because this is recorded. So this, and I'm going to show you an example of it. So I'm going to go ahead and press tab. This is where the geometry all lines up into that one pole. Okay, so a way to fix that is creating a cube map, right? But right now we're going to go along with this. So now that I know my sphere has been inverted, I have the proper naming convention on my material, and I have my sphere. So I'm going to go ahead and file, export FBX. I'm going to go ahead and drop this in here, calling it Starry Sky. Whoops. I like to click on selected objects. That's a habit of mine. You know, it's up to you, your workflow. I'm going to go ahead and click on Export FBX. And I'm going to always save your work. Blender has given me lots of tears for it shutting down. So I'm going to go ahead and file save as. I'm going to call this inverted sphere and save as. All right, cool. Now what I'm going to do, and I'm going to open up Horizon and let's see what it looks like. And how we access the desktop in Horizon, in case nobody has yet, is I'm going to go to my, it's the MetaQuest link. I have Horizon downloaded onto my PC, and then I'm going to go ahead and click these three dots and start desktop mode. And let it load, baby. I am going to shut down Blender in case, because I might be doing too much. Okay. Alrighty. So now I'm going to make a nice fresh world. And I'm going to call this Skybox Demo. I will go over that. I've been using 4K textures. I like my 4K textures. It really depends on how it looks. I say it's open for experiments. you know. I know you can push it a little further, but it's more recommended for a 4K texture, for me, at least. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and create. Alrighty. And let's import this. So I'm going to go ahead, add new, 3D model. I'm going to turn off this offset pivot because we don't need it right now. Choose files on my device. And then I'm going to go ahead and select both of these because they go together. So this one is the geometry. This is the FBX that you just exported. And here is the image texture. So I'm going to grab them both and click on open. And then press import. All right, cool. We have a skybox. It's probably going to be really tiny because I didn't resize it. Oh, not bad. Okie dokie. So, in my viewport, now I see an inverted skybox. So, another thing to note is I do like to use hotkeys in the desktop editor. So if I were to select and I press the W key, it gives me this gizmo, right? You could also press E for rotation and R for scale. Now, that's a little big. Actually, I'd like to pull out a gizmo so I can turn off that fog. Turn it off. All right, cool. So I'm going to go in the Sky Dome and live in it for a second. And there we have it. I could see the pucker a little bit. I could see it. However, we have a really cool Sky Dome to live in. You would think R would be the rotation. However, these key functions I am used to due to Maya. Maya does use the same functions for their gizmos. Anyways, that's besides the point. So we have a Sky Dome. Now the thing about this Sky Dome is, if I were to go, you see how my avatar is nice and bright, and that might be okay, but let's say we want a darker setting, and if I were to take this gizmo and bring this daytime, I'd like to bring it to twilight clouds. See what happens to the skybox. It becomes very dull, right? The lights went away. So there is a way to fix that with importing. So let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring this to the side, and then we're going to choose another way to bring that in. And I'm going to show you right now. I'm going to shut this down because I've already fried a CPU and I had to replace it today, which was very risky. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Blender again. I would definitely turn off that fog. Turn it off. You don't need it right now. Okay. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to rename. I would like to tell Horizon, hey, I want this image, but I want it to be unlit, right? So I'm going to do starry in, hold on, because this is all messed up. Okay. So in the materials, I'm going to rename that material. So I'm going to do starry underscore unlit, right? That is the command that tells Horizon, hey, make my texture unlit. So now what I'm going to do is one more step. Now that I did my underscore unlit, I have to also make my texture, the actual texture, change the name on that too. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you my file. Right now it says starry underscore BR, but I want to change that to starry underscore B. And I'll tell you why that is. Because we don't need roughness. Roughness is what adds shine, right? So we got rid of the R because roughness we don't need. What we need is the color. And that's what the B stands for. The B actually stands for base color. So that's what's important here. And that's what's going to make that color pop. So now I have that fixed. I'm going to go ahead and take this geometry and re-export it because now it has the correct naming convention. So I'm going to do File, Export, FBX. And I'm going to overwrite my last FBX. So I'm going to do Selected Objects, Export FBX. All right, let's try this again. So I'm going to open up Horizon. There is a doc that goes over all of that. All right, so I'm going to go back to Meta Horizons by opening it with these 3 dots, start in desktop mode. It still says BR? No, it says B. Oh, don't worry about that part. Because what I did, and I'll show you what I did. This part doesn't really matter. It's just that uploaded the image. What's important is externally, the name is correct and the material is correct. So definitely don't mix that up. But if I wanted to restart it, I can just re-upload the image and then we're good to go. But thank you for seeing that. Alrighty, so let's go back to this Skybox demo. So let's do it. I'm gonna go to Assets, Add New, 3D Model. I'm gonna turn off this Offset Pivot because we don't need it right now. I'm going to choose my files. I'm going to find them. And then I'm going to select my FBX that goes along with my texture. I'm going to grab them both, press open, and import. Alrighty, cool. So here we are. It's loading. And look at the difference. It's night and day, literally. So now you have a more vibrant sky dome to live in. So I'm going to go ahead and press R so I can scale this up. So now that we have our awesome AI generated Equirectangular item, I do have a template. Yes, B made it unlit. Let me refresh a little bit. So let me take this down. Whoops. Actually, okay. So instead of it being kind of like starry underscore BR, I took away the R, right? I took away the R. Like, we don't need it in this part, because all we need is the actual color, which is the B. But in the materials, to tell Horizon, hey, I want this unlit, I did underscore unlit, right? And then on the texture itself, I did underscore B, giving only the color information to Horizon. That way it gives you that color pop. I hope that answered it. That's also in the documentation. I know somebody Tabs, thank you so much for dropping that documentation in there. It's definitely a good tool to help you navigate. Alrighty. And so, yes, all the color and nothing but the color. Alrighty. So let's talk about cube maps. And I'm going to quickly go through this as well. Here we are. So, and this was from a session I did with everybody. This is what a cube map looks like. And this can be easily exported from the Blockade labs, or you can use a converter. So, what is a converter? Well, it takes your equirectangular image and it brings it, and it creates this cube map that you see. Basically, this is a cube map. So what does it look like in your files? Okay, after you have extracted a cube map, you will see a series of images, up to 6. So you have your back, bottom, front, left, right, and top. It's kind of like a puzzle. It's cool. It's fun to play with. And how you extract it from AI is you can go ahead, and I'm going to go, you know what I like to do? I'd like to create another one of these guys. Surreal landscape, twisted mushrooms, and a purple river through the scene, distant mountains, swirling clouds, and at sunset. Okay. A purple river, a purple waterfall for Irish Duchess, through the scene, distant mountains, swirling clouds at sunset. Let's do it. I'm going to press generate. Hey, look at that. All right, this is cute. I like it. Alrighty. What do you guys think? I like these colors. Very cute. Very cute. Very demure. Very cutesy. Alrighty. Now let's download this. So this time I'm going to choose the cube map. I'm going to do default. Very mindful. And now it's going to generate a zip file for me for this one to unpack. And I'm gonna zip through this one because with them I have one more method to show you guys, and I'm really excited about it. So this one's a little more brainy, and I'm not gonna go too in depth, but I'm gonna show you the magic. Did we download? Hey, there we go. Drag that onto my desktop. Where did it go? Ah, there it is. I know, I'm trying to be quick about it. Extract. Alrighty, cool. And now this is what it gives me. It gives me the 6 images to piece together in Blender. So I'm going to go ahead and rename these. And I'm going to actually name them according to these guys. So back _ B. That's why I have this template too. So you guys don't have to do any guesswork. You extract from Blockade Labs if you want, and then just pop on the names there, and you'll be good to go. So I definitely want to make this super easy for you guys to get into. _ B. This one is front. And we know why I'm labeling it _ B is because we want that color to pop. This is left _ B. And these are the types of things that you're going to find yourself doing, is a lot of renaming. Right? _ B. A lot of renaming of textures. Sorry, I didn't finish my thought there. All right, top _ B. Alrighty. Making sure I did everything correct. All right, cool. So let's open up our guy here. So I have this all set up for you guys just to bring in those textures. So I'll go ahead and select the first material because it's all on one mesh, right? And you could now in Horizon, just reminding you guys that you can attach multiple materials onto one mesh. So back _ B, bottom B, right B, top B, front B, left B. You'll see it in the package. I am going to drop a care package for all of you guys that has all of this stuff that I worked with for you guys to play with. So let me get through this. So I'm going to new folder. Gonna go ahead and drop this in the file for you guys, and I'm gonna find that for you here. I'm gonna do open, and that one was top, so I'm gonna find top, open image, and as you can see, it is in the right orientation. Well, at least I hope it continues to be. It's been a while since I opened this file, This one was front, so I'm going to find front. Yep. All right, cool. Got it. All right, and I'm going to open. This one was bottom. There we go. Left. Left. Right. And one more. Back. Now that all of my textures have been populated, now you could see all of the amazing stuff that it needs to show. Look at that. And now let's see how Horizon imports a multi-material FBX. Yes, pure magic. So let's bring this into Horizon. So I'm going to do File, Export, FBX, and then I'm going to call this Mushroom Heaven. I always like to do selected objects because I am OCD like that. Export. All right, cool. I'm gonna save this. Save as. I like to save versions of blend files. Another OCD trait. Alrighty, so let's see what this looks like in Horizon. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm going to add new 3D model. I'm going to turn off the offset pivots because we do not need it. I'm going to find my files. I'm going to do... Alrighty. So what I like to do is I like to make sure that my textures and my FBX are all in one place so that I don't have to go digging into different different files to find these objects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click and drag and select everything. So I have my 1 FBX and I have my 6 textures. Now I'm going to go ahead and click open. As long as all the names are properly done, this will work. If there's an error, definitely make sure to pay attention to those errors, because the tiniest little mistake can mess up the whole thing. Like capitalizations is so important. Just kind of like a heads up to that, because, you know, multiple materials can get a little confusing when we have these issues. So definitely make sure everything is done correctly on that, in that part there. So I'm going to go, I have everything selected. I click open. Everything is listed here, and I'm going to click import. It may take a minute for it to upload, but we are doing good. Oh, there we have it, uploaded. So I'm going to go ahead, click and drag out to the main viewport. And there we have it. We have a nice Sky Dome. And guess what? There is no pucker. Look at that. Now we have an awesome environment to live in. Very cool. And nothing to kiss. That would be up to you, because it's kind of like season to taste, you know? I think a cube map is definitely ideal for the way it looks, but that's up to you to decide. No answer is the wrong answer. The Equirectangular type is still good. So definitely utilize that. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the third option. So I am going to shut down Horizons. And I'm going to close this up. Let's press save. Alrighty. So let's talk about rendering. Rendering our own skyboxes. It's very exciting because you have a handle on everything. You are the main designer. You're not relying on AI to do the work for you. You have total control of the environment. And this part is really special. And I really hope you guys definitely experiment with this way. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up number one. Is it number one? Okay. So I've created a quick scene for you guys. And here we have it. Let's say I created an atmosphere, right? Let's say that the monkeys are hills and valleys and these cones are mountains and all of that. Hello, Miss Angie D. Right? And so let's say, well, how do we get this wonderful setup to be a sky dome? And the answer is rendering, right? To me, rendering is so exciting. And I would like to make it less scary for you guys. So let's do it. So first up, I'd like to introduce you guys to the World Properties tab. Now, the World Properties tab consists of the surface, and you have your background. I chose a color, but I'm going to turn that on so you can see it. And then you have volume, ray visibility, all of this, but I'm going to leave this to you guys to experiment with. There's a lot of tutorials that I will provide because, I mean, I don't have more than 2 hours to teach you guys, but I'm definitely excited to share this world with you. Alrighty, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn on this render tab. And as you can see, it's a little scary when it gets all kind of like I don't know how to call that, but it gets a little jumpy, but that's because we are on render mode. And as you can see, you have this light and shadow values happening. I have the daytime lights on. A lot of fun things are happening here. And it's like, okay, now Space Glitter, still, how do I get this to become a sky dome? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and create a camera. So I'm going to do Shift A. Whoops. I'm going to do Shift A. And I'm going to go ahead and create a camera. Alrighty. So I'm going to zoom in on this camera. This camera is on the wrong orientation, which I will fix. I'm going to actually turn off render mode so that it's not so crazy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you guys to this drop down here. This is, to me, I like to call it the attributes editor. It has all of your transforms. So I'm going to go ahead and change the dimensions. So the X value, I'm going to put that at 1. And then the Z value, I'm going to bring this to 3. Now the rotation, I'm going to take the X and I'm going to bring it to 90 degrees. Y, I'm going to zero that out. And then Z, I'm going to zero that out as well. Okay, cool. Now I have now I have my camera in the right orientation, right? So if I were to click on my camera, and I'm going to click on the camera, and then I right click and set the active camera. Now I can see right through that camera. So don't worry about what it's looking at, because we're going to fix that in a minute. Alrighty. So now let's change this camera into an Equirectangular 360 camera. Alrighty. And how we do that is this. We go down to where it says, we'll go to this camera tab right here. And then we're going to change the camera type from perspective. Whoops. Well, I forgot. So I don't have the settings that I need here. And that's because I need to change the render settings from Eevee to cycles. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to go to render. And it's already in cycles. Let me go back and check. Oh, sorry, my bad. So I'm going to go from perspective to panoramic. And then, and I want to show you guys what that did. It created a fisheye lens, right? But we don't want fisheye. What we want is the Equirectangular. So now, as you can see, there's a repeat of monkeys and cones. That means now I took my 2D camera and made it a 360 camera. So there's so many things you can do with that. So many things. Like, let's say, for example, if I wanted to put a giant, like, I don't know, Mothra or Godzilla in the sky, I can do that. If I wanted to create my own hills and valleys that are deep into the distance, I can do that. I can have total control of what my skybox looks like, right? So now what does this look like when it's rendered? And yes, this is definitely, this is so much fun. I promise. So I'm going to do file save. I always do save, and I'm going to press render. I am always nervous when I press render. Before I do that, I'm going to go back to the render settings and let you know that we're going from CPU, and I'm going to bring that to GPU compute, right? I'm going to leave it at GPU because I'm going to use my graphics card to render this. Alrighty. And I am going to leave the resolution at 2048 by 1024. Okay, cool. Now what we're going to do is you could press F12. I like to go to the render tab and just click on render image. Now wish me luck. Look at that. Now, as you can see, it's rendering and it's almost done. That was quick. That went a lot better than I thought it would. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and save out this render I just did. So I'm going to go image, save as, and this one I'm going to call, I don't know, Monkey Town. All right, cool. And I'm going to do _B because I want to bring this into Horizon right away. I want to see what it looks like. I'm going to do save image. Alrighty, cool. Exit out of that. I'm going to take myself off of render mode. All right. So now there are so many things you can do with this. So I'm going to go ahead and open up Horizon. Oh, I'm so silly. I need to make my inverted sphere too. I'm going to make that really quick now. I'm going to go ahead and click on Assets, Add New, 3D Model, turn off those offset pivots because you don't need it. When I say that, I think of SpongeBob. I grew up in a house full of kids, and SpongeBob comes to mind. It's like, put your foot down, don't you forget it. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and click on Monkey Town B_B and my Monkey Town FBX. I'm going to click on Open, press Import, and let's see what this looks like. Let's pull this out. And let's see this awesome Skybox we custom made. Whoops. Where'd it go? There we are. We made our very own designed Skybox. Look at that. So the monkeys. I love it. As you can see, I mean, there are a few things that need to happen, and we all know that I am at the bottom of the sphere. However, this is definitely something that you can do. You can make it a half sphere. Yes, you could just delete half of the geometry and you made a half sphere. I like, for example, and let's see if I can use my skills to create something here. Hold on. Shapes. I'm gonna pull out this, and then I'm going to bring this. I'm gonna bring it up, and let's say, whoops. Knowing the gizmos is very important, guys. They will make life less hair pulley. All right, cool. Now that I put a floor, things look a lot better in this perspective, right? Am I right? Looks like I'm in that room full of those monkeys. You could do it too. You can get into shader nodes. You can do all these fun things with the environments, right? Really cool. Now, the next thing I want to show you, and it's close to the last thing, is this. So I'm going to shut down Horizon. Because I have too much going on right now. So let me organize real quick. Yeah, I'll save. Actually, you know what I'd like to do is I'd like to take this camera. By the way, this camera I made, you can actually copy and paste, but I'd rather you learn how to create it first. But I will definitely drop all of these guys once again for you guys to play around with. Here is another way that you can create the Skybox. So I'm going to go ahead and drop this. And that is through nodes. Now, nodes are definitely scary, but once you get a handle of them, which I am going to drop a tutorial that inspired me very much. Which is this one. You guys have seen a video that I created with this very Skybox. Yes, nodes. Be excited about nodes. And so this is the tutorial that I followed that really taught me how to do Blender nodes for sky domes and sky environments. And here's what I did. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to shut off this camera. And I'm going to turn on. Now, here's what I did in the beginning. It's very simple. But as you can see, this is something that I've created myself. I've created the clouds. I've created the gradient sky and this beam right here, right? And this is something that I'm going to give to you guys to experiment with. And how you experiment with this is by diving deep into the nodes. So we're gonna zoom in and we're just gonna take a look. And so we start off with a world output, which is the basic sky starting off. And then we have our mixed shaders and light paths. And all of this is probably Chinese to you guys, but those who are daring will definitely get the results that they exactly are looking for. And for example, here are the cool things where this color ramp will give me the colors that I need to create my skies. For example, let's say I wanted something green and spooky. I can go ahead and change these skies to exactly that. And now I have a very ghoulish green and spooky sky. And let's say I wanted to change the color of this beam. I can go ahead and change the color to yeah, like this yellowish green. I have nodes. As you can see, this is all customizable. Rather than just putting items in the world, you can also generate really cool things with these Blender nodes. And pretty much the nodes are the same all around. But nonetheless, definitely don't be afraid to take a deep dive into getting familiar with how to use this node system. Now the last, and don't worry, I'm going to drop this to you. I believe this also has an equirectangular camera. Yes, it does. So it is also, you could just press render and play around with it. So now I'm going to just close this up. I'm not going to save that. Now the last is something that is built into Blender. And it's something really easy. It takes away all the node guesswork out of it. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to look for a specific Blender add-on that is built into Blender, but it's hidden, it's not activated. So I'm going to go ahead and find that add-on. So I'm going to do Edit, Preferences, And then I'm going to find dynamic sky. And it looks like I already have it activated. If you do not see this in this section of the add-ons, you would have to go into Get Extensions and then find Dynamic Sky here, and then it will prompt you to install. But I already have it installed, so we are good to go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to press N to generate my attributes editor, and then I'm going to go down here where it says create, and I have a drop down menu here. It's a little hidden. I'm going to click on this arrow, and then I'm going to click on create. Now I created the world dynamic 1. Okay, so I don't see it yet. What's going on? And that's because I have to go down here, and then I have to click on this world. Right now it has the default. What I want to do is click on dynamic 1. Now let's see what that looks like. This is what it looks like. Now, what's cool about this is it creates the clouds for you, right? It creates the sky. You don't have to worry about geometry nodes. However, I highly recommend you get curious, experiment with them, because I kid you not, it's very exciting to know that you can do some wonderful things with them. Don't be afraid either. Alrighty, so now it gives me all these really cool features. For example, if I want to change the sky color, as you can guess, I want my sky to be purple. And there we go. That's a little too purple. Alrighty. So I have a purple sky now. I want my horizon color to be, I don't know, pink. And there we have it. Now I have a pink horizon. Now the cloud color. I want the clouds to be blue. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a blue. I mean, it's not prominent because it's clouds. However, I'm going to make them such. So now as you can look around, you have a really cool, and let me get away from this grid because it's bothering me. Now you have a really cool sky that you easily made yourself. You created it, right? With the help of this add-on. Now, all you need to do to get that Equirectangular camera in here, you could copy and paste it from the other projects, or you could create it from scratch. Either way, I definitely hope that you practice creating them. That way you get familiar with the system, which is really important.